Hey everyone, my name is Reggie and welcome to my channel. Today I will be sharing with you the romances I hated. These are the love stories and books that I just couldn't get on board with and my personal no TPs. So if you're in the mood for something a little bit more positive, don't worry, I've got you covered this Valentine's Day, and we'll be throwing it back to last Valentine's Day videos where I made a favorite fictional couples video as well as a favorite fictional friendships video. So I'll link both of those down in the comments or in the description bar below for you. That way you can have some positivity this Valentine's Day. But if you're into the saltiness of me kind of talking about some romances I just couldn't get on board with, then you found yourself in the right place. If you're new around here and you haven't done so already, I definitely recommend subscribing to my channel and also hitting that bell notification because I post new videos every single week and I think it's a great time. So hopefully you do too. First up, we've got the entire Shatter Me love triangle. So we'll start off with Juliet and Adam, who is the first couple that you meet in the series. And Juliet is this character who's coming out of like this intense, dark prison type sentence, this weird time in her life where she's being introduced to people for the first time, and her touch can kill someone. She finally finds someone who she can like touch and not kill, and she falls for them. Makes sense. They have a very feeling relationship, and Juliet goes all in. She is consumed with her love for Adam, and he is just not a good time. He's very one-dimensional. He doesn't really think about a lot of things. He kind of, in my opinion, keeps her down, keeps her focused on him, and is very selfish in that he keeps her focused on him and not letting her kind of grow, flourish. So we'll move on to Warner, who is the other part of this love triangle. He is a not great person. He is kind of awful, especially in the first book. He's one of these characters that just because like something bad happens to them in their past doesn't excuse their poor behavior in their present. I also feel like he doesn't do enough for us to just forgive him as the story progresses. He does the opposite of what Adam does, though. He lets our main character Juliet flourish, spread her wings, and do great things. However, he's still like not a great person. I don't get it. Juliet should have ended up alone. Next up, we'll do America and Aspen from the Selection series. Aspen is that like childhood best friend trope in young adult books that happens a lot, and sometimes I love it. I'm all for it. And other times, like this one, I'm just not. What I don't like about Aspen is he is the idea of like telling someone and not showing them. Like there's that saying in writing, like, don't tell us, show us with their actions. There's that saying, actions speak louder than words, which might be a better way to describe this to you. Aspen says he loves America, but he doesn't treat her like it. He is constantly getting in arguments with her. He's constantly picking and nitpicking little things she does. He says one thing that means another, and it's just so awful, and it irritates me that he can just like act one way and then mean something completely different. It's so frustrating. Next up, we're going with the worst romance I've ever read. Ever. And this is Miles and Tate in Ugly Love. So the reason this is the worst out of the entire list so far is because there is no other option. Most of these are love triangles, and I just really hate part of the love triangle. This one is the only option. There's no like, oh, that one's better than this one and we're supposed to not like this one or anything like that. This is the romance. This is the idealized love story, and it's awful. So Tate lets Miles walk all over her. Miles is just a awful person, and he just treats Tate so poorly, and it's disgusting, and she just lets him, and it's just frustrating that this is like a romanticized, idealized love story. He sucks, she doesn't see it, and we're supposed to love them both. I can't. Next up, we have one that thankfully you're not supposed to root for. It just makes me sad in my heart, so we're gonna talk about it, and that's Light and Mesa from Death Note. So Light in Death Note is kind of like this character who's walking the line between good and evil. So this is one of those moments where he definitely sways into the evil side, is how he treats Mesa. Mesa is this cute little girl who would do anything for Light. She loves him so very much, and he manipulates that. He uses that to his advantage. He knows she will do anything for him, and he lets her. He uses her as a pawn in his game, and it is horrifying to watch. But it makes him that like villainized character. So it's fascinating to see an author actually use the relationship and a damaging, troubling relationship to paint this character as a villain. So at least there's that. I appreciate that. And like, you're not supposed to root for this romance. thank goodness, but it's just really sad to see. The one y'all have been waiting for, because I've mentioned it quite a few times on my channel, and this is Feyre and Rhysand. I don't get it. I can't get it. I don't get it. I'm not on board. I just don't like this ship, and I never will. Rhysand is not a good person. My frustrations with this are very similar to my frustrations with Shatter Me, and it's that Rhysand sucks. Just because Tamlin did something awful doesn't mean Rhysand is suddenly forgiven for all the things he did in the past. I think the writing idea was very similar in that we have this character that we're supposed to like, Tamlin or Adam, and then a thing happens. They're written in the next book in a different way. As if like you're supposed to like them and now you're supposed to hate them and now you're supposed to like the other person in the love triangle because they're so much better. But like they were shitty in the first book, so like why are we forgiving them? Why is it just okay now that the first person was shitty, now the second person's great, even though they were shitty in the first book? Why is this a thing? Again, why can't Feyre just be alone? Why can't girls just love themselves and not have a romantic interest? That'd be great. But then A Court of Mist and Fury would not be what it is, which is definitely a Sexy Times book. I don't know what the plot is. Is there one? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The last one I have to talk to you about today is How to Love by Katie Coutinho. So the romance in this is interesting because it follows different timelines. A girl gets pregnant when she's a teenager with the boy she's seen, runs away, they don't work out, obviously. Runs away is a bad word, but they don't work out, obviously, because she leaves, comes back, has this cute little romance with this guy years later, and so it's a dual timeline. And this guy that she's with in the current timeline is so sweet and so nice and so great, and I love him. She has this like potential thing with him, and it's so great and so healthy and so lovely. And then the guy from her past comes back in, and like I know he's baby daddy, but like he still sucks. Not gonna spoil anything for you, but I just don't like this side of the romance, especially when there's this shiny, happy, healthy thing over here, and we're just distracted by this awfulness over here. I just don't like it. So those are all of the romances that I just cannot stand that I've read, or whatever I'm titling this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a fun time, and I hope you thought so too. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!